Okay, so this is going to be a new series called Questions from My Inbox. And I'm just going to start taking questions and things like off of my posts from my inbox that comes from one person and situations that come across and pull out like a larger spiritual lesson in it. Because a lot of times, what one person is going through, the other person is going through, because you guys, we are all a collective if you're here. All right, you are definitely a part of my collective, and I'm a part of yours too. So I figure we can just do this little thing together. And of course, you guys, I won't share any of your personal information. So don't feel like that. I'm not going to share your personal business at all. A lot of times I might also reply to you personally, individually as well. Okay. If I have the time or if I feel called to. But we're going to just talk about the lesson. So let's get into it. Today, I want to talk about feeling lost. All right. That's been coming up for a lot of people. I feel like a lot of people right now are feeling this certain pressure of, I've got to find myself. I've got to figure out what I'm going to do today, right? Like, what the fuck? What? I think it's just the state of the world, right? And sometimes you're not actually lost. Okay, let's get to that. Sometimes you're just like mentally crossed up and you've lost a lot of confidence in yourself and trust in yourself, and you don't have enough direction, air, to recognize what's actually in alignment with you at the time. Okay. Um, if you guys ever want to get deeper, this is where readings and things come in, right? Like this is where the shadow work and all of those things are going to come in to help you heal. But let's get back to it because you can cross yourself. Okay. When we speak of uncrossing and things in hoodoo, like, yes, it can be someone else that has crossed you up, but we talk about crossing somebody spiritually, like, it doesn't always have to be somebody doing something to you, but think about what happens when somebody says something to you and then you keep replaying like that shit in your head, right? Like, so it can be somebody just simply with an opinion. That's what I mean. Like, by it doesn't have to always be somebody doing something to you. It could be somebody just sharing an opinion, or maybe you grew up with like parents that was just constantly, you know what I mean? Somebody rejects you or mistreats you, or it just makes you start questioning yourself, or somebody, oh, you can't do that, or how are you going to do that, and you start doubting yourself, right? That people can them people can be long gone, but you're still hearing them, you're still replaying it, and that voice eventually becomes your same voice. Now you're telling yourself that you can't do the things, or you're questioning your own self-worth, or like I said, you start losing trust in yourself. That's a crossing. Okay. So spiritually, and I teach this in my 5 pillars of spiritual hygiene, you guys go download it, but it's literally, I teach the 5 pillars. This is one of them because this happens all the time. So in order to start defining yourself, you got to uncross yourself first. Get that shit up off you. Okay. Separate what actually belongs from you and somebody else, what somebody else put you through, right? With their words or treatments or things like that of you, rejection, whatever the fuck it may be. And after uncrossing, then I would do some sweetening work, but not like some of you guys, y'all be focused on the wrong thing sometimes. Don't try to sweeten no fucking body up to you. Not unless it's like for a specific reason, like, oh, a job, like, and so I'm trying to sweeten this boss. Sweeten your fucking roads. Open yourself up. Sweeten yourself toward the people, places, the opportunities, relationships, mentors, and things like that, because then you can start getting in alignment, right, with the environments that actually align with the life that you're trying to create. And a lot of times we think, oh, it's this person will complete me, or this job will complete me. And you have no fucking idea what the universe has in store for you. I know that some of y'all don't want to hear that. Right. And here's the next thing. Okay. Because this, it came up in part of the question. You cannot say, I don't trust nobody, and then turn around and say, I can't find my people. I hear you guys do this shit all the time. This is another form of crossing yourself up. All right. What do you mean? What do you mean? Baby, if you won't let nobody in, listen, and that doesn't mean just start blindly trusting everybody. That's why we have discernment. That's why we use our intuition, right? A lot of y'all ignore that. When your sacral chakra, when you're in your solar plexus goes off, baby, and you start ignoring that damn gut, when somebody shows you they are not for you, okay, they're not for you. That's information. You don't have to internalize that, though. right? But every time you trust yourself, like you clear that road a little bit more. Somebody not being for you does not automatically mean that something is wrong with you, right? A lot of times we internalize those things, those breakups and things, and it has nothing to do with you. It's them. Sometimes it's about them, their limitations, policies, whatever the fuck they grew up believing, their parents, okay, whatever the fuck they have going on. Your job for you is alignment. What actually aligns with the life that you want to live? Because if you don't have direction, then you're going to just be like, an open compass. An open compass. Anybody that comes along, anything that they tell you you should do, you're going to pick up your bags and you're going to go wherever they are taking you. That's not necessarily where you need to go for you. And that's when you start feeling lost. Okay. And then when you get there and it doesn't work, you're asking, okay, now where do I go? Babes, start asking those questions in advance. Start asking the important questions in advance. When I was younger, I didn't ask questions at all. And I would get in some fucked up situations behind that asking questions. And so now I ask all the questions. Okay. I don't know. Where are you trying to go? What do you want? Who are you becoming? What does your higher self want for your life? All of these things, start asking yourself, okay? Because once you start answering those questions, you're going to start feeling like you have some sort of direction. And you're going to actually, what'll happen is you'll put yourself into alignment because you'll stop entertaining the things that don't match where you're actually trying to go, right? It's like, oh, this is totally left, right? You're working at fucking McDonald's and you want to be an author. Well, it would probably be best, like, let's start working at a bookstore or, for a publishing company or something first, right? That's what I'm saying. And everything you walk away from, and I'm not talking about people that's in survival. That's a whole nother situation. But, it can be perfectly good opportunity and still not be your opportunity. You guys, that's alignment. I've turned down some damn good opportunities, but I know what's in store for me. All right. That's alignment. We have to also talk about confidence. Okay. One of the simplest ways for you to start building confidence in yourself, you guys, is by you keeping promises to yourself. I know if people be thinking but confidence really is a learned trait. Okay. Some people it's natural. Some people have those parents that boosted them up from day one. But, if you're telling yourself that you're going to do something, do it. A lot of us have to learn it. Okay, so every time you follow through with something that you're teaching yourself, you learn, I can trust me, right? And you don't need the whole damn plan to be complete. You'll be able to trust yourself with each choice and decision and step you make. Maybe the next step is finishing something you already started. Maybe it's finding a mentor or learning something new, apprenticeship, right? Maybe then you choose yourself, meeting different people, and you trust yourself, right? And you trust when you say, nope, this isn't for me either, right? Or any of those things. That's all information that you're downloading into your system at this point. That's how you stop feeling lost, right? This is how you learn the road. You learn it by walking the road. And that leads us into surrender. All right. People think surrender means sitting around waiting for the spirit to tell you exactly what to do. And sometimes it can be that, but no. All right. I'm going to say that probably 70% of the time, no. Sometimes, most of the time, I'll say that surrender is saying, I don't know exactly how I'm going to get there, but I do know the direction that I'm going in. Right. I think that's more accurate when we talk about surrender. And then you let the spirit take over. And then you take the steps that's in front of you. And you can trust yourself and you believe in yourself because you kind of know the direction that you want to go in. And let me explain why I wanted to do this question and why I feel like this conversation is especially important right now. If you have my focus guide, the week of August 13th through the 18th that we've been working through right now, we are in the waxing moon phase. And this part of the cycle is all about growth and momentum. I also spoke about the month of August for Leo being about authority. That was the key word for this month. Really learning to lead, right? Learning discipline, leadership, making those commitments to yourself, stamina, and staying close to what you want through focused effort, right? And I feel like that's really a lot out in the collective right now. A lot of you guys are dealing with that energy. I know I was, right? So how can you direct your effort if you don't know what you're directing it towards, though? Right. So that's why I felt like that was very important. So these are the questions to be asking yourself right now. I'm going to give you guys some questions real quick. I want you guys to start asking yourself, what is it that you are building, or what do you want to build? What do you desire to build? And if you don't have an answer for these right now, it's okay. You just write them down anyways, and it'll come to you as you surrender. Okay. And as you put yourself into alignment, who are you becoming? Okay. Where am I giving away my authority? What are you putting it into that doesn't belong to you? What are you continuing to entertain that doesn't align with where you're trying to go? That's a big one, you guys, because like I said, it doesn't always have to be a bad thing, but sometimes it's just not your thing. And, we're also in, like I said, we're in this Leo energy. Leo brings us into self-expression, a place of having pride, imagination, and confidence, self-worth, and performance. It rules the heart, the sun, and our life force. Literally, the heart is the center of our body. Okay. When I think of Leo, I always think about courage, right? And I feel like when you're on this road to yourself, it takes a lot of courage. So I always think about the Cowardly Lion and the Wizard of Oz. All right. Now think about this for a second. The lion is looking for courage. But where does courage come from? A lot of times people think it's this loud, brave thing. And no, courage comes from your heart. All right. It comes from your center. It comes from those moments of, I trust myself. I'm going to take this step. I'm going to take this leap for my dreams. Okay. I also connect this time to the strength card in tarot. Okay. But strength, just like courage, is not always about being loud or forcing things, forcing yourself to be seen. The strength card is literally a feminine figure controlling the masculine. Okay. It's not about always being seen or overpowering everything around you, because sometimes the strength is also in just the surrender, in the trusting yourself. It's the courage of saying, I don't know exactly where this road is going, but I know I can't stay here, right? I know I've moved past this point, and I know I want a different version of life for myself. Sometimes courage is releasing that, okay? Or releasing something that doesn't align with you before you know what's going to actually replace it, right? We see this all the time. You have to have courage to have a divorce. You have to have courage to apply for those new jobs or that new position. Sometimes courage is trusting yourself just enough for you guys to go. And some of us are going through an entire identity transformation right now, and that's why it feels uncomfortable. Okay, that old version of you isn't fitting anymore, and you haven't completely met the new version yet. I went through this a couple of years ago, and I'm currently finally integrating, right? I normally go through things a little bit before my collective, not a long time before, though. Like, I'm talking like a few weeks to maybe a few months to maybe a couple of years before. And then I'll start seeing different habits and things. But I want to say, of course, you're going to feel a little lost at this time. But maybe you're not actually lost. Maybe you're in between these identities. And maybe the question isn't, where am I supposed to go, right? Maybe it's not that. Maybe it's what has me crossed up mentally? What do I need to drop? What do I need to cleanse from? What am I carrying? Those sorts of things that don't belong to me. Because like I said, those things can cross you up, and hopefully this video makes sense and you guys can see how it all plays together. Having confidence, surrender, direction, right? Learning where you stop trusting yourself at, all of those things are going to lead you down to figuring out what you're not willing to entertain anymore. Because, like I said, you want to start entertaining the things that are in alignment with you. You won't even like the same friends, I'm telling you, the same music, all sorts of things, because you're going to want to do things that aligns with who you're actually becoming. And a big one, you guys, today, I want you to ask yourself, what's the promise that you can make to keep yourself, right? Or what's the next promise that you can make to yourself to keep? You don't have to see like the whole road, the whole picture ahead of you. You just need enough courage to take the next step. And that's today's question from my inbox, you guys. All right. I probably do want to take this question a little bit deeper. So what I'm going to do also is do readings for some of these questions. Okay, so I'm going to pull some cards on this for the collective. Join me in, you'll see the video posted also. I'll post it right after this one. And if this message is resonating with you right now, meet me over there. Okay, and we're going to ask Spirit what this identity transformation is actually trying to move us towards. Okay, because like I said, I've been going through this myself as well. If you have something that you're working through, you guys, go ahead, send me a message. You can send it through any of my emails. I check them all eventually. Okay, I'm not going to say my social media. I don't check my inboxes like that on Facebook. I do check more on my TikTok and things. So you guys catch up with me. We'll see. Like I said, I'm not going to be able to answer every question individually, but if that's something that comes through that I feel it speaks to a larger lesson or something and something happening in a collective, then yeah, I'll put it and we'll talk about it here. Okay. Like I said earlier, your identity, your personal details, and all of those things are always going to stay private. I'm not going to put your business out there. That's an oath I took doing the work that I do. Okay. I'm also an ordained minister. Many of you guys probably don't know that. So yeah, I take my work very seriously, you guys. But sometimes the question that you're literally afraid to ask, I need you guys to have courage in this, is the same question that everybody else is sitting with as well. So speak up. Okay, speak up. Also, you guys, if you want to go further or if you want to learn more, and if you lasted this long in the video, go ahead and like and all of that stuff. Share it for me, please. But if you want to go deeper, schedule a reading if you want individualized, or you guys can join me in my Red Room memberships. I will be starting those back up this month. And yeah, we're going to have lots of live conversation in there. All right. Love Line Lingerie, and I'll talk to you soon.